Hello, friends of the internet. Welcome back to Driven Dave. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Today on the channel, you can see I'm here in front of my beautiful 2022
Perfect.
Tesla Model 3 long range dual motor. I think I said it all. If you're in the market for a Tesla and you're thinking about ordering one, or you're thinking about getting solar from Tesla, I've got some solar panels right here, as you can see. Um, do me a favor and check out my referral link. It would really help me out, and it'll save you a bunch of money. So it's a win-win. And check my link in the description for not only that, but other, like my favorite Tesla products and other car care products. So check it out. Today, I can't believe it. I feel like we just did the 25,000 mile review. Today is the 35,000 mile review on my 2022 Model 3. So we're going to kind of talk about my perspective as an owner after almost a year of driving this car quite a bit, as you can tell. And I'll tell you, like, some things have changed. Some things have gotten better, some things have gotten worse. So we'll talk about all of that. So let's get right into it. First thing that I really like about this car, it's super duper fast. And I just hate, like, all those people that say, well, yeah, it's an electric car, so it has the instant torque. Just forget about all of that. It's just fast, okay? And yeah, it does have a lot of instant torque, but it's just properly quick. And I had a Corvette before this with 400 horsepower, and I don't really miss the speed of the Corvette. This is at least as fast. A lot of people have talked about how good the Tesla charging network is. They're absolutely correct. The Tesla charging network is unbelievable. You can go pretty much wherever you want to go. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to be leaving on a 700-mile road trip, and I've kind of, I looked on a better route planner, and I also looked on the Tesla app, but honestly, I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to put my destination in, and I'm going to start driving, and the Tesla network is going to be fantastic. So really no worries about that. I'm more worried about me staying awake, and charging the car is not one of my concerns. The other thing that's really great about the car, handling, really, really good. This car, of course, being the long range, it's not like a sport tune suspension, but it's pretty darn sporty for what it is. And it'll do some pretty incredible things in the canyons. I don't have performance tires on here. A lot of people think that maybe I have aftermarket tires. These are actually the ones that came with the car. I've got the Hankook, what are they? The Kinergy? Something like that. As you can see, I have the poverty spec 18-inch wheels. But they're fine. And at 35,000 miles, I just had them rotated again. It looks like I've still got another probably, I don't know, 7 to 14,000 miles left, depending upon how I drive. So I really can't fault the Hankooks. Those have been great. Most of the time these come with Michelins. I don't know why I got the Hankooks, but the guy at the tire shop told me these are actually very durable tires. And I don't really have any complaints. They've been good in the wet, good in the dry. They're not too noisy. They're just good tires. So, definitely consider some if you're needing new tires. It's a comfortable car. I sit in this thing all the time. I haven't had any back issues. I'm 6'2". I'm a big fella, and no problems there. The other thing that's great about owning one of these, it's kind of like the iPhone of electric cars. The accessories are just unbelievably plentiful, and I'll have links to some of those. Check them out. I just got a set of base Nor floor mats, which are amazing. Like, I can't, it just feels like they're part of the car now. And definitely check those out. With my link, you get 10% off, which is really cool. VION is sending me some cool stuff. In fact, after I film this video, I'm going to put on some carbon fiber door handle wraps. It's kind of neat. And some, I'm going to extend the wood grain on the center console. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. And that's all from VION. I have a discount code for them too. I think it's Driven Coupon 10 that'll save you 10% on VION parts and accessories. The other thing that's great about this car, all the updates. Like, it is true that the car you start with is not the car you end with. I don't know how many updates I've had since took delivery of the car in late September 2022, and now we're in July of 2023. I mean, a lot has changed with the car, and I would say arguably it has gotten a lot better. Autopilot has gotten a lot better as a perfect example, and I love, love, love Autopilot. It is like the greatest thing. I can't tell you enough just how much autopilot saves me. I've been doing back and forth like LA to Ventura for like 6 days a week, which is like 75 miles each way, and the car just, I set autopilot and it just takes care of me. So I'm really a huge fan of that. That's been really terrific. The other thing is very durable. It goes without saying, I'm in and out of this car a lot, and it's really held up nicely. I'm going to switch the camera around and show you some more things. So speaking of the durability of the car, I mean, as you can see, 35,000 miles. I should have washed the car today. I apologize for it being so dirty, but I think it still looks okay on camera. Really, besides a few, scrapes and nicks or whatever, just from use, like this was unfortunate, but the car still looks really pretty darn good. The stuff that wasn't right from the factory still isn't. That's fine. I think the paint is still really shiny. I have not done a good job of I keep it clean, but I run it through an automatic car wash all the time. Sorry, I don't want to get unfollowed by all of you, but that's what I do. And I think it looks fine. It's not how I want to take care of it, but it's how I take care of it. So there you have it. And I still think it looks great. I will show you some of the things that haven't gone well in terms of durability, but in terms of external durability, it's really, really good. Mechanically, I've had no problems with it. It has just been turn it on and go. I mean, you don't even turn it on, you just get in. And it still drives just as good as it did when I got it. I really haven't noticed any issue. It feels just as fast as ever. The brakes feel great. The steering feels great. The suspension feels great. It doesn't feel like the car ages one bit. If you have a Tesla and you feel this way, let me know. But it's not like having a gas car where it kind of gets slower over time. This thing just kind of keeps on keeping on, and you really don't have to do anything. You just plug it in. The only maintenance I do is I rotate the tires, and that's to keep them wearing pretty well. And you can see, there is starting to show some wear, on the inside here. So I just got the car aligned. I think it was $118 for the alignment at American Tire Depot, and they did a really good job. So hopefully that'll buy me a little more time, but they always wear right here first. But still, man, pretty good for 35,000 miles. And a lot of those miles I was, excited. So I try to take it easy just to save the tires, but that's what happens. But like I was saying, drives new, feels great. In terms of rattles and stuff, there are no new rattles. But there are some rattles. This car has all the usual Tesla rattles, the Model 3 rattles, that is. It goes with the territory. And if you have one of these, you know what I'm talking about. There's a rattle in the dashboard, under certain frequencies, like a motorcycle revving, it'll kind of make it at a certain frequency. And then there's also something in the rear deck lid, not the trunk, but the parcel shelf. It sounds like it's coming from this area back here, and I just don't know. But that only does it over certain road surfaces. So, but those are the only rattles. I don't hear anything else. Nothing new has sprung up, and I think that's really good. Another thing that's really great, obviously I've talked about it before in other videos, but just the implementation of the technology, autopilot, Sentry mode, just all the seamless integration of the cameras and the automated stuff. It's really pretty amazing. When you get in another car, like a more traditional car, it's just not quite as seamless, Not that there aren't great integrations of technology in other cars, but I like the way they do it in this one. I think it's really good. I like the way it looks, and I like the way it looks more kind of each day. I think, especially with the tint and the mud flaps. I'll have a link in the description for those mud flaps. I think they're $26. But I just think it looks super cool. I think it looks kind of like a sports car, even though it has 4 doors. And for a 4-door sedan, I think it's really pretty slick. The other thing that's cool is the phone key. As long as my phone is kind of on, I do have a bit of a gripe with the phone key. I think it works really well when it works really well. So if I have a bunch of stuff in my hands, the door doesn't want to open. But like right now, I'm sure it'll open fine. You'll see how messy my car is. Um, but yeah, it works. It works great. But sometimes I'll have to take the phone out of my pocket and like make sure the screen is on, and then it'll open. So that's just kind of a little annoyance, but I've gotten used to it. It's like half the time I don't expect it to work when I go for the handle. But you know, like I said, you just kind of get used to stuff. Also, the stereo is really great. I forgot to mention that. Like, I'm still enjoying the stereo. It sounds really good. Um, iTunes is pretty good. Hopefully, that's going to get better with updates. But iTunes works fine. Okay, so that's all the stuff I like. Which okay, let's talk about the bad stuff. You know, buckle up. Some of you aren't going to like this. So the first off, let's talk about build quality. Okay, it's you know, everybody knows that with Teslas, particularly, actually I was going to say like particularly Model 3, but it really doesn't matter. Like Model S, Model X, they're all kind of their problems, you know. So let's talk about it. I mean, some of the panels sometimes, like when you look, they're not quite, you know, you'll see a little bit of this, or you know, see that's a little funky right there. It's like if you buy one of these, don't forget to use my referral code. If you buy one of these, just don't look at it too closely. That's what I'd recommend. The closer you look, the worse it gets. Like you just start seeing things like, oh, that doesn't quite line up. Like, oh, that's not quite even. I mean, you can just drive yourself absolutely crazy. My friend John has a car just like mine. And I told him, I said, yeah, my rear door, like right here, kind of bulges out. It doesn't quite line up. He said, oh, yeah, mine does the same thing. And sure enough, he has a 2022 long range Model 3, and his door bulges out right there. Also, this doesn't line up. Like, it's just, I'm telling you, you're not going to be happy if you start looking too closely. I noticed my lenses right here actually rub. I need to get that addressed. And right here, they're fine. But you know, panel gaps, okay? You've heard it before. Other videos have covered it. It's just, it's kind of par for the course. And of course, the more you drive it, the more like horrible things you start seeing. Somebody gave me a nasty door ding right here. I don't even know how this got dented, but that's dented. You know, it's just all this little stuff. Now we're going to talk about the front bumper, which a lot of people say like you should really get PPF and everything. That's paint protection film. Okay, and I don't know. It's like $600 for the front of the car, I think, maybe even more. I kind of wish I had done it, honestly. You can see that the front of the car takes a lot of bugs. I'll get right up in there so you can see, but it's just splatter, splatter, splatter. My fog light got pushed in. I don't know how to fix that. Winston, if you're watching, how do I fix this? Because I know you know. Also, I've got like some scrapes and scuffs, and I mean, just all kinds of stuff has happened up here, and it all happened pretty quickly. This is a deep gouge, you know. So if stuff like that is going to bother you, that's all gouged. This is scraped. You know, if that stuff is going to bother you, you know, hey man, go ahead and get PPF if you can afford it. I just kind of was like, man, this car was so expensive, I can't afford PPF. You know, after buying all of this. And I also thought, you know, it's just a commuter car. I mean, it's a beautiful car and I want to keep it nice, but you know, hey, they're everywhere. And now that Midnight Silver Metallic is going to be the free color, you're going to see this exact car everywhere. So there's that. So that kind of covers build quality and PPF and all of that stuff. Now let's talk about value. When I placed my deposit for this car, every video I watched was like, you know, it's great. I bought this car a year and a half ago, and now it's worth $13,000 more than I paid, and I'm going to get a better one, and this and that. So I was pretty stoked when I bought this, and thought, yeah, you know, if I want to just like get a new one after a year, I'll just get a new one. Oh, yeah, that ain't happening. This is my car. Whether I like it or not, I am hanging on to this bad boy. Elon was nice enough to drop the price. I think the long range is something like, I don't know, almost $10,000 less than what I paid, just not even a year ago. Not to mention there are all those terrific rebates. So it's a great time to buy one. Don't forget to use my referral code down below. Oh, but yeah, I am stuck with this car. So the value has tanked. I mean, tanked. There's never been a better time to buy one. There's never been a worse time for me to sell mine. So, and I'm not going to anyway, but still, if I wanted to, yeah, that'd be a bummer. So, so I hope that illuminates some things. Again, this is July 2023. So, all of that could change. And that brings me to my next point. Another kind of negative of having one of these is just the constant change. Like, either the price is changing or the features are changing. Project Highland is supposed to come out really soon, which is like the refresh Model 3. So that's going to drop the value of this car even more. And I mean, it's just kind of like buying like a laptop. Like an Apple laptop is the perfect example. When I bought my laptop, it was the latest, greatest. And then I swear, like, I bought an M1, whatchamacallit, MacBook Pro. And it was the 16-inch, big deal and all of this. And then the M2 came out. So I feel like buying a Tesla is kind of like that. You're going to buy one and then the next new awesome thing comes out. Like, I know the new Model Ys are shipping with hardware 4 for the cameras, whereas the Model 3, I think, still has the hardware 3. If I'm wrong, correct me. But, like, I would love to see how hardware 4 works. Hardware 3 has gotten a lot better, though. It has to be said. But, like, I bought my car, and I have parking sensors, and then a friend of mine bought one, and she didn't get parking sensors. And it was like 2 weeks later. So, again, it's just like, it's constantly changing. So if that's going to bother you, maybe you shouldn't get a Tesla. Because and it still kind of bothers me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this changed and that changed. It's just kind of an emotional roller coaster, especially when you're looking at like how the price changes and all of that stuff. Another negative let's talk about, and I don't think anyone can fight me on this one, registration fees, especially here in California. I just got my registration renewal. And normally I keep this kind of stuff private, but hey, let's get it out in the open, because let's talk about it. My car didn't get newer, it got older. My car didn't get more expensive, it got less expensive. And do you know how much the state of California wants? $730. Yes, $730. So you may be saving, considerable money on gas, but one could make the argument, like, what about driving a $20,000 gas car, and paying $250 to register it, or whatever, maybe $300. So I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me know what you think. That's certainly nothing against the Tesla. It's more about the state of California. But I mean, it's so pretty. But yeah, the registration fee is nuts. The other thing let's talk about is insurance. It's expensive. I don't understand. Like, I've talked to other people that say, oh yeah, I didn't really notice a change. But it's like, well, then you must have had a pretty nice car, because I noticed a change. My insurance on this car is about $100 a month higher than it was on my Kia Optima. Now, granted, this is a much nicer car than the Kia Optima, and it's worth a lot more, etc., etc., and it's way faster. But still, man, that's a lot of money. So my friend John said his insurance just went up. I think his went from like $800 for 6 months, and it's going up to $1,400 for 6 months. So that's lame. Again, nothing against the car. It's just the reality of owning it and what the insurance company is doing. So hopefully it doesn't happen to me. Perfect timing. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me, but it probably will, because that's what happens. Okay, now let's get back to like things that are actually like not super awesome with the car. Road noise. It's pretty noisy, I have to say. not super duper impressed with how quiet it is on the road. Um, if you're on a nicely paved road, it's not bad, but if it's a noisy road, it's a noisy road. You're going to hear it. And for a car that has no drivetrain noise, you know, or very little, you would hope that the road noise would be less. Also, there's some wind noise, and I still need to like go back to the service center and have this addressed. But you know, it's like the way they make this seal is, it just doesn't seem to work very well. And I kind of keep putting it back into place, hoping that maybe that'll make a difference, but it probably won't. I did see one video about like putting some silicone on it, and I was going to do that and actually analyze the decibel readings. So one of these days I'm going to get around to do it. Be sure to subscribe to check that out. but that's the deal with that. And of course, like this being a 22, it does have the dual pane glass, which does help a little bit. But you know, it's a great car. It's just like there's certain things about it that, you know, it's not made super duper duper well. But despite all of that, it's still, you know, it still functions really, really well. And it's a great car. We talked a little bit about the front bumper and just kind of scrapes and scuffs and nicks and all that stuff. So just be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is just like the overall room inside the car. Like very spacious front seats, you know, especially if you move them back. And as you can see, I have mine reclined pretty darn far. I don't know why I have a napkin right here. There. But yeah, plenty of leg room. 6'2". There's my nice base nor floor mat. There you go. Check it out. So like plenty of knee room, plenty of leg room, plenty of head room. All of that's great. It's just, you know, if one of my kids is behind me, there we go. You know, if I have like the car seats in, it's, you know, I have to like move my seat up. So if we take like a family road trip, like we're going to go to Vegas in a couple of weeks, it gets kind of tight in here. It's really not, like you can use it as a family car, but it's not a family car, okay? It's really a commuter car that can double as a family car if you need it to. I know like in Europe, people use these as family cars and they say they're great, but I don't recommend it, truthfully. Like if you have a family, you're going to be using it a lot, like to haul the kids around, just get the Model Y. You know that's the right answer. I don't have to tell you. When I ordered my car, the Model Y was like $70,000. So it wasn't worth it. But now I think the Model Y is like, what do they start at? Like 49? So, I mean, that's a little more doable. You know, it's still an expensive car, but it's not $70,000 expensive. So I do feel bad for anyone that had to pay that much for a Model Y. That is a drag. You know, so just a lot of things to consider. But I mean, that's really like, that's the extent of the things that I don't like. I think it's a really great car. Like there's, you know, the technology, as I said, keeps getting better. It's still fun to drive. It's still comfortable. I'm actually going to be camping in it tomorrow night as I embark on a 700-mile road trip one way. And so I need to sleep for about, you know, 3 hours. And so I'm putting my aero bed in the back. It totally fits. That's really cool. So this car is going to save me, you know, 150 bucks on a hotel room. And that's going to be great. I'll be filming that, of course. So be sure to tune in to check out my road trip adventure in this car and just see what happens. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also kind of excited about it. It should be a lot of fun. So anyway, there you have it. I think after 35,000 miles, even though there are some negatives, particularly like in terms of like, you know, I lost money on this car. I'm not happy about that. But on the other side of the token, I'm very happy with my car. And when I bought it, I decided it was a good idea. so I can't be mad at anybody. It was my decision. And as I said, I'm still loving the car. So I don't regret having it. I just regret purchasing it when I did. That's fair, right? But it's just a terrific car. It's still comfortable. As you can see, I have these very nice Test Beauty pillows here, which I highly recommend. These are really awesome. Test Beauty was nice enough to send these to me. I did a video on them. But honestly, you know, I thought about taking them out of the car after I did the video. I'm like, no, I can't live without these. So love my Test Beauty pillows. They are awesome. As I said, I'll have a link in the description for a lot of my favorite stuff, including these pillows, these floor mats, and various other accoutrements. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, all of that stuff down below. I really appreciate you joining me for this video. I hope you found it informative, useful, or just entertaining, or maybe it helped put you to sleep. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, my friends, stay driven. Bye.
Perfect.